Pressure break.
Well, happy Thursday. This is your pressure break. This weekend, we will be talking about God's love in our lives, specifically God's disruptive love in our lives. And sometimes God loves us so much that He wants us to move us from one place to another. It can happen daily, it can happen weekly, but every now and then there's a big disruption. And for our family, I can count several. And since we're going to talk about it this weekend, I thought I'd go ahead and share the first one with you right now during the pressure break. Essentially, you have to rewind all the way back to the year 2000 when Levi was born. And then as we got into the year 2001, Jennifer and I looked at each other and we said, we really do need to focus on our family. At the time, I was working in retail, managing a music store that had grown from a small one-store operation into 3 stores operating in 2 states. And it was very normal, like it always happened, that my work week was a 6-day work week with a lot of travel in between these other stores. We wanted to kind of back up and simplify things a little bit. We moved to the next county over, opened up a small music lesson studio. As if that wasn't disruptive enough, someone came in our studio, Bill Busick, and invited us to church. Now, this is important because the church invite is part of God's disruption. The church he invited us to happened to be a very small storefront church plant. Jennifer and I got involved quickly. Specifically, I was involved in the worship team. And just a few weeks in, the pastor and his wife, Pastor Bob, invited us to lunch. We were like, man, this is awesome. We're going to go eat lunch with the pastor and his wife. And not very far into lunch, Pastor Bob asked this question: have you ever considered student ministry? To which I was like, yeah, not really. And Jennifer and I kind of looked at each other, and as we got to thinking and talking about it, my degree was in education, my minor was in biblical studies. I loved to teach. I said yes. Major change for us in our life, in our ministry, and it turned out to be the focus of our family for, well, I hung out with students this past Wednesday night playing 9-ball and having fun. God's love really is a disruptive force in our lives. It reminds me of one of the key verses for this weekend, which is found in Matthew chapter 16. Verses 25 and 26 will be the verses we look at. But even back in verse 23, Jesus is saying something really interesting. He says this: "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the things of God, but the things of men." So Jesus specifically saying, Satan, you're a distraction. You've got the wrong things in mind. You've got godless things in mind. And then verse 25, "For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul?" These are hard questions. These are the questions we have to ask ourselves, just like Dino's been asking throughout this entire "What Do You Really Believe" series. This is one of the things, this is a key moment for us as Christ followers. Do we want to take another step, the next step? Do we want to move from one line in our faith maybe to the next line in our faith? Think about that. We can gain a lot. We can store up treasure on earth. Or we can be open to God's disruptions in our life. This has been your pressure break. We'll see you Sunday for church, either in person or online. And I'll see you again next Thursday for another pressure break. Thanks for watching.